I suppose the biggest concern for the farmers out there, I suppose, today is, and sorry, I'd like to welcome our witnesses here before us today, is the fact that they're paying a levy fee twice in relation to farm plastic at purchase and disposal, and that's, you know, hard hitting in what a lot of farmers find is tough times in their farm. I have a number of questions for the IFFPG, and I'd appreciate maybe you might, it's easiest to take them down and maybe answer, because some of them might be connected to each other, and I try and if I'm going too fast you might pull me up and I'll slow up on them. Am I correct in saying the IFFPG have their own compliance officer, and what is the job description? That's the first question. Does your compliance officer visit your agents' yards, and how often? And are all your agents compliant with the terms of permits? If they are, any issues of non-compliancy, how are they dealt with, and are they reported to the local council? Third question is, can it be confirmed or denied if IFFPG gave a contract to a company some years ago that had an EPA conviction? 4, what happened with the contractor's yard in Killorglin? Why was it closed? Who and what gave or gives the IFFPG the authority to demand exclusive rights to the end markets recyclers? And the question is, since the introduction of the levy, what was the annual value to the IFFPG? Also, how much did IFFPG earn from sale of plastic annually during the good years when it had value?
Will we take them all together? Or?
I think so. It's easy. Some of them are connected, and it might make it easier.
I don't know.
And I'll try to get them all. That's why I get them out fast, so that they'll get enough time to answer. How much are the operating costs of the IFFPG? And how much money do the IFFPG have to have on deposit in the event that all contractors' yards have to be cleared? And where is this money? And also, where is the present farm plastic being recycled outside of Ireland? And 2 more questions. What facilities are being used in Ireland, and are there further plans to incinerate this farm plastic waste? And final question, as a non-profit scheme, why, when we go into the CRO site, we cannot view the full set of accounts, and why should they be hidden under EU 105 regulations as non-profit scheme? You might be able to answer these questions if you don't mind.
Thank you very much, Deputy. That's quite a lot of questions. Maybe start with your last one, which is our accounts. Our full set of accounts are actually available on our website if you want to see them. So if you go on our website, which is farmplastics.ie, you'll see our accounts. So that deals with that question. With regards to the levy and the farmer being charged twice, we've gone with a funding model that sees the producer through the producer contribution making up the bulk of the income in the first instance, and we also have a weight-based collection charge for farmers, and we've gone with this model because it encourages farmers to bring in cleaner plastic to the collection points. We could charge for everything through the producer contribution, in which case the producer contribution would increase, so there would be no difference to the farmer. So this particular funding model encourages the farmer to take out at least large pieces of contamination from the plastic, and we've seen quite an improvement in the quality of plastic in recent years because of that. We have a compliance officer. We have a compliance officer working with us for the last maybe 9 or 10 years. And he has 2 main roles with the company. One is to ensure that our producer members get their returns in on time, and that we get the required funds from our producer members. And he also works with the local authorities to ensure that that any cases of illegal supply of farm plastic products, that's farm plastic products without the levy, are dealt with. He has a third role as well, which is working with our contractors to make sure that our contractors are running their bring centres and running their yards to a high standard. At the moment, we have a situation where our contractors are moving material from their yards in advance of the new season, which will be starting very shortly. From time to time, there can be pressures in those yards. If there are pressures in a yard, we work with the contractor to make sure that the yard is brought back under control. Our contractors work in a very cooperative way with the county councils, as we do all the time. So there's a very good relationship there with the county councils. In terms of turnover, our turnover, as you'll see in our accounts last year, was just a little bit over €6 million. Okay, so that was the cost of running the scheme. So that's what we have spent last year. And we work towards having a reserve of something in the region of €3 million in place at any given time. Having said that, for the last number of years, because we have been collecting record volumes of material at a time when recycling costs were high, our reserve has become a little depleted, but we have taken measures to deal with that. If I've missed some of your questions there, you might just remind me.
Just can it be confirmed or denied if IFFPG gave a contract to a company some years ago that had an EPA conviction, and what happened with the contractor's yard in Killorgan? Why was it closed? And I suppose the other thing is, I understand there's quite a lot of questions. How much are operating costs? How much? We say there's one other question. Yeah, where is the present farm plastic being recycled outside of Ireland?
Okay, we have 2 recycling plants in Ireland, so we supply as much as we can to those 2 recycling plants, and after that the material at the moment is going to recycling facilities in the UK and in mainland Europe. Okay, going back to your question regarding a contractor receiving a contract that had an EPA conviction, it did come to our attention after a contracting procedure, maybe going back 8-10 years ago, that yes, there was conviction there for one of our contractors. But that came to our attention after the contract was signed. It was a quite minor fine that particular contractor was fined. In the case of the Killorgan yard, it's not closed. There is a little bit of pressure there in terms of material in the yard, but we're working with that contractor to deal with it, and the contractor is working with the County Council as well. And indeed, that contractor has submitted a planning application now to extend his permitted area.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I'd like to leave other members in here. Thank you.